Hey girl, hey, and welcome back to Let's Wine About It, where we talk all things relationships, self-love, and well-being over a glass of wine. We are smack dab in the middle of holiday season, and if you are also in the midst of your single season, this may be a particularly hard time for you. So today I want to share some tips on how to make the most of your single season, especially during the holidays. First, I want to start off by sharing a gem I picked up listening to a podcast that talked about this very topic. The guest of the show talked about how she experienced an outpouring of happiness and excitement from her friends, family, and social media following when she announced she was in a relationship. And while she was very grateful for the support, she felt a little sad that her single past self did not receive the attention and level of excitement for her other accomplishments. And it kind of felt like those things were less important to society. And it didn't mean anything if she was single. So the host responded and made a really profound observation, and that most people get excited about relationships because the desire to be loved is universal. Your goal to be a CEO or to get your MBA or start a new business may not strike a personal chord with everyone, but love and partnership, everyone gets that. And so the response is usually more visceral. This made me think about how true this can be in even our own response and view of ourselves being single. Love is a desire that we've had since birth, long before any career or educational ambitions. So it's deep rooted within us. And unfortunately, society romanticizes, no pun intended, and glorifies romantic love above all others. So throughout our lives, we focus on and give most of our attention to finding that love through partnerships and companionship. So, this brings me to step one in making the most of your single season. Change your mindset. 3 small words, really, really big task. That's why we're coming out the gate with this one. So, everything else afterwards would be easy peasy. So, be mindful of what you consume. Number one, this is super important whether you are newly single or if you've been single gang, okay? Pay attention to your mood after you've been scrolling through social media. Do you feel re-energized about your present and hopeful about your future? Or do you feel deflated, sad, jealous, or anxious? If your feed is filled with friends getting married or pages about love and marriage and it doesn't make you feel hopeful or excited, but instead the opposite, unfollow those pages or simply take a break from social media. Does that one friend you talk to every day encourage you during your single season, or does she like to throw pity parties for two? Or are they newly in love themselves and can't wait to tell you all the details? Well, then you need to limit your interactions here. This does not mean cut off your friends or that you can't express real happiness for them. Celebrate with them, but know your limits and set boundaries once you start approaching them. Also, as you set limits on things that aren't encouraging, take it one step further and start consuming things that are. Changing your mindset is renewing your mindset. For me, this means getting reconnected with your higher power. This may be the universe for some. For me, it's God. If you believe there is a higher power, a common thread between all those beliefs is that when we are in alignment with that power, when we exercise faith in that power, it will work out in our favor for our prosperity, and it will exceed our expectations. It may not look how we envisioned it, but it will happen when it needs to happen, and it will be what we need it to be. So leaning into this truth will completely change your mindset about whatever season you are in. Okay, number 2, is understand your purpose and your why. I have a video where I talk about this in depth, and I'll link it here or in the description for reference on how to actually do this. But for today, I just want to focus on why this crucial step in making the most of your single season. Not understanding your purpose can lead you down roads that do not serve you. Being more sure about yourself and your purpose will improve your discernment tenfold. Your radar for things that don't speak to your best self or that are not in alignment with your purpose will lose all of its appeal. When you're intentional about living in your purpose, that growth is expedited and your clarity about what you want in life and in a partner is pristine. Knowing your purpose will also serve as an anchor once you're in a relationship. Many times women tend to lose themselves in their relationships to other people. But when you have done the work of living in your purpose and fueling that purpose, you're better equipped to hold on to yourself once you're partnered. And that relieves some of the pressure from your partner to be the thing that makes you feel fulfilled and happy. So now you yourself can be a better partner for them. Someone that's more patient with shortcomings, slow to anger, easy to forgive, less anxious, and more compassionate. Like the saying goes, you cannot pour from an empty cup. And your single season is the perfect time to make sure your cup runneth over. Okay, so this brings me to tip number 3, self-development. Your single season does not mean your sit and wait season. Yes, in step 1, we talked about faith, but note I specifically said exercise faith. That means acting in alignment with what is promised to you. Are you doing the things that would make you the type of person ready to receive what you're asking for? How are you currently managing your household, your finances, your health, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually? What activities do you participate in that challenge you or engage you? It's very easy to be complacent in all these areas when it's just yourself holding you accountable. When you are in a lifelong partnership, however, how you behave in these areas directly affects someone else. And so by default, they now hold you accountable. Are you prepared for that? Does that mean you have to be perfect in perfect health or have a perfect credit score or make 6 figures and run a pristine household top to bottom? No. What it means is you are self-aware about all of these things and are actively working on improving and or maintaining them. Focusing on self-development also refocuses your attention away from what you don't have, i.e. a relationship, and more on what you do have and how to grow and nourish that. Last but certainly not least, know this season is temporary and that each season comes with its own hardships and disappointments. So appreciate where you are today. One thing I like to do anytime I feel a slight tinge of anxiousness about my husband taking his scenic route to get here is frame my day by saying what I get to do because I am single, as opposed to what I don't have or what I don't get to do because I'm not married. So if I plan to go home and have dinner after work and then get invited to happy hour, there's no one else's schedule or opinion I need to consider before saying yes. There are literally hundreds of things that bring me joy or create convenience and ease in my life that I might not be able to experience if I was married. Now, when I am married, the same will be true. I will think of all the things that I get to do and get to experience as a married person that I wasn't able to as a single person. The point is, every season you are in comes with its own ups and downs. Lean into the ups, spend time there, appreciate them, because the number one thing to remember about seasons is that they change. So that's it. I hope you found this helpful. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, leave a comment and tell me about how you have dealt with being single or are currently dealing with being single. Thanks for chatting with me, and as always, cheers.